We have to know the hadith. Come on, guys. You want to know what the real problem is? I'll tell you the real problem. It's not because, well, we question this hadith or that hadith. No. Or maybe this scholar, maybe... No, that's not the real problem. You want to know the real problem? Shaitan. That's the real problem. The shaitan. Because he knows if you leave the hadith, it's not long before you leave the Quran. And he knows it works because he already did it to the Christians. And they left their book and made a new one. And he already did it to the Jews, to the Yahud. They kept most of their book. But they didn't keep the original, but they kept a lot of stuff. But they ignore it. They just don't do it. And they mistranslate it because they don't... Actually, I'm going to tell you, from what I studied while I was a Christian, and even after that, I completed my doctorate after I came in Islam. I felt kind of foolish, but I wanted to complete it. Anyhow, the scholarly works today indicate that these manuscripts really that they have for the Bible are more like hadith than they are the Quran. There's pieces of it though that sort of looks like poetry, so it might be something. But most of what they have is what we would consider hadith, da'if, or mawdu', which means weak and fabricated hadith. So we want to be guided by Allah. The book, His messenger. What's the rest of what I said? The rest of it says, the worst of all actions, the worst of all actions or deeds is to do what? Bidah. What is bidah? One of the students of Imam Jafar, Shaykh Jafar Idris, is Ali Tamimi. And by the way, they have him under house arrest, and they're going to put him, they're actually going to put him in prison forever, they said, if they can convict him. This right now. Right now. You know why? They don't like what he says. He says the truth. Anyhow, here was Shaykh Ali was telling us about this, what is bid'ah. He's from Iraq, by the way, so he knows Arabic language, studied it. He studied in Medina. He told us bid'ah is literally an innovation, something brand new, that you never had it before. Something new to a region, new to an area. And he said, Islam, when it came to the Hijaz, to the people of the Prophet ﷺ, to them the Quran and Islam was bid'ah. Because they didn't have it before. It was new. So that was good bid'ah. The new innovation, which they never had before, at least in their lifetime, was what? La ilaha illallah. It was new to them. Everything the Prophet ﷺ brought for them was a new way to look at what they already knew or didn't know. Right? They learned many, many things. A whole new way of life. But then in the end of the life of Rasul ﷺ, came one surah, which is at the very end, إِذْ جَاءَ نَصْرُ اللَّهِ وَالْفَتْحُ, and then came one ayah in another part of the Quran at the very end of his life, Al-Yawmul Akmaltu Lakum Dinakum. On this day, Allah is saying, I have perfected your religion for you, completed my favor on you, and chose for you to do what? Aslam. Be Muslim. That's the best. And then when he says he completed it, what do you think he means? You're going to send somebody else later to check up on a few points and change it? Like Paul did for the Christians? Have a blinding light experience on the road or have a dream in the middle of the night? Oh yeah, we can throw this verse away. Whoa! It's finished. Yes or no? Al-yawma akmaltu lakum dinakum. This is a completed deen for you guys. Finished. Not another word needs to be added to it. It's there between the Quran and the Hadith. So that means what? Anything that comes after that would be a new bid'ah. You follow what I'm saying? So Allah is bringing this bid'ah for the people so they can see something new, something good. But once this ayah comes, this means anything after this, after Prophet Muhammad, because he died right after that. It was like the very last thing which comes. Between that and the other surah which I mentioned, when you read the tafsir you understand, because in one place it said this is the last surah. Oh, it probably was. And it said this is the last ayah. That doesn't contradict everything. A surah and ayah are not the same thing. Anyhow, how could somebody come up later with something new and say it's okay? This is good bid'ah. When we say we're Muslim, what do we mean? It means we follow two things. Quran and Sunnah. Yes or no? Now some people are still, I know some people are still stuck in their mind. No, just the Quran. Come on, man, I don't know. Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam made it clear in the hadith when he said, I have been sent with the Quran and something like it. Did he mean he had another book? We already discussed he didn't even have one book. We said that because he didn't write it. It was what was in his memory, and he was teaching it. Have you heard about Hadith Qudsi? These are sacred hadiths. This means that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said it, but the Prophet ﷺ is free to choose the way he wants to express what he heard from Allah. And you can't read Hadith Qudsi in your salah. But it's still from Allah. Okay, now that we established what I just said, I'm going to go back and talk about bid'ah a little bit more. Some people consider it's a good bid'ah if it's something that gets people to come and do things in Islam. I want to mention a few that I consider to be good bid'ah. And then if you don't agree with me, please help me to understand why I'm wrong. Because I'm an easygoing guy. I'm real easy as long as I get what I want. It's because I'm from Texas. Anyhow. First one I want to mention to you is the Quran. This one right here beside me. Not exactly this one. This has English in it. But writing the Quran down and putting it in a book with a cover over it was never done during the lifetime of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So putting it in a book, all in one place with a cover on it, is bid'ah. Is that right or wrong? Who did that? Many people say it's Abu Bakr. Do you know what really happened? The story says they went to Abu Bakr and they asked him to do it. They said, you know what, we're losing some of the people who memorize the Quran. You know, battles, old age, things like this. Plus, what we have written on it is, wrote it on. My English is falling apart. On leaves, animal skins, rocks, things like this. We don't really have it written down on one sheet of paper somewhere. And they just asked permission to do that and put a cover on it. And he said no. They asked him again. They kind of put pressure on him. They brought other people and influential, knowledgeable people of Islam came to him and asked permission. Even they had more knowledge maybe of some hadith than he did. More knowledge of tafsir maybe than he did. But he's the Amir, he's the Khalifa. So they have to take his permission. They had to. And they ask him again, and